Folks, if I could have your attention,
Uh-oh.
I'd like to ask everyone to please take a seat. We're going to begin our meeting because this is being televised live.
Oh, we're not on the
We
air
want to
yet.
make sure that we
I
do
hate
what we can and get as close to being on time.
the camera.
We have a terrific crowd here this evening, and that's the way I like it. I like bigger crowds because this is a big-time celebration. And although we have 10 people appointed by the select board, there's another 20 or 30 that should be involved with us, so you get an idea of what's going on. We have some good news to share this evening. We do have a couple of people that couldn't make it. I should say maybe 10 people can't make it tonight because of other commitments. That's always going to happen. But here we are in 2024, and it's not that far. We're a year away from the first event that will actually take place. There's a lot of fundraising. That's got to be a priority. Money, 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 in terms of us paying the bill. The other priority is volunteers. I think I've said many times before, even on camera, that it takes 30 people just to run a parade. You can imagine all the volunteers that we need. So, I'm going to officially call the meeting to order. I wanted to thank Queeset House for hosting this meeting. They've done many meetings before. And of course, I wanted to thank certainly ECAT, Eastern Community Access Television, for sharing our meetings with the general public. So they too are aware of what our plans are as we prepare for the year 2025. Sounds a long ways off, folks, but it's just around the corner. Time goes by fast. We're starting to make a move. I'm starting to get re-excited about the celebration. The fact is that time moves by fast. The good news that I share with you, and of course I open up the meeting first and I'll get to that, but this meeting is officially open. It is our Tricentennial Committee meeting on January 23rd, and it is official. I'd like to start off by doing introductions. So we're going to go around the table. We actually have two groups that are an important part of our committee. We have the 10 people who have been appointed by the Eastern Select Board. They are the folks that vote on the motions. Then there's another 20 people who are on our committee and have major responsibilities. They're either coordinators of signature events, or they may be participating in some way. Today we have Fire Chief Alexander joining us today, and we have Deputy Chief from the Police Department, Deputy Chief Adams. And I'm going to move them on the top of the agenda so they can get back to public safety. But I did want to go around the room first. Introduce yourself and tell us what your responsibilities are. I'm Dave Clifton as the chair. I'm as good as the people I surround myself with. So let's go around the table and introduce yourself. We'll start with the committee members appointed by the board. Go ahead, Diane.
I'm Diane Rusardi and I'm the secretary.
Dale Carister, on Community Relations Chair.
I am Jeanette Camara, the treasurer.
Joan Lundgren. I'm newly appointed to the committee, so I don't have an affiliation to talk about, but I'm here. Glad to be here.
Someone put you next to picnic assistant.
That is not true. We're on TV, so I will not comment on that right now. Okay, thank you.
Anyway, I'm Courtney Pumpkin and in charge of fundraising. Holla at me.
I'm Rosalind Miller and I'm the assistant secretary.
And Ken Michael is not with us this evening because of another commitment, but he's in charge of business and of course the historical events that we'll be planning and preparing for this celebration. Mike Good is in charge of marketing and communications. And he just recently finished up with the new logo that's available. And we have the person that did the logo here tonight. And it's not an easy name to remember, like John Smith or something, but the fact is that, why don't you introduce yourself?
My name's Piper Jornalis, and I designed the logo.
Awesome logo, by the way.
It's absolutely terrific. Let's go around the rock. First, Roz Miller is also a new appointee by the Select Board in Easton, and she has the responsibility of being Assistant Secretary. So we'll start over there, Deputy Chief. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Philip Adams, I'm Deputy Chief. I'm somewhat new to my role. Been in the position about a year, and I've worked for the town for about 10 years.
Justin Alexander, Fire Chief, closing on 3 years with Easton, about 2 decades in the service, and 11 years as a chief. So happy to help. Look forward to this.
Tom Hetzel, I'm a volunteer.
Karen Hetzel, and I'm also a volunteer.
Two very important jobs on our committee, no doubt about it.
Sally Sussman, and I'm here to help out.
Anybody else that didn't introduce
Over here.
himself?
Over here.
I'm Rob Goodrich. I'm the president of the Easton Lions Club, and I'm here to see how we can plug my big club into the festivities. I'm also very much a history nerd and a genealogy enthusiast. So aside from my duties with the Lions Club, I love to pitch in on the history stuff.
Well, you got a terrific organization, and we're looking forward to the participation by the Lions. And we also sent somebody else, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no problem. Jamie Anderson, I'm the coordinator for the block party.
I didn't recognize you with your hat on.
I know, I keep switching it up on you.
And of course, her and her husband Dan are gonna handle the block party after the parade. So we're not sending everybody home, we're gonna bring everybody together to enjoy fellowship and refreshments. And there's been a suggestion made, and I think Dan was okay with it. Instead of ending the parade and taking a left when we get to the center of town, we're gonna take a right. And the plan is to do the block party in front of Memorial Hall. And we're gonna block off that street, that little side street. What's the name of that street?
Barrows.
Barrows. And there'll be more room to do it. It won't interfere with traffic. And the plan with Corey is to paint the parade route red, white, and blue. Now we can go down the main street. Not all the way to the chocolate place, but we'll go to the church, and that's where the parade will disperse.
I'm Amanda
sorry.
Hurley. I
Coordinators.
am a coordinator, co-chair coordinator for the first day event, and then also working with Dave on the gala. And a
And we
secret.
appreciate their experience doing this kind of thing. Everybody seems to know them in town. And I know that tonight, the reason why we introduce each other, most of us know each other, but the fact is our viewing audience on ECAT, they would like to know who's involved and what your responsibilities are. So we're off and running.
Wait a minute, Anne Marie.
Oh,
I'm Anne
sorry.
Marie Taylor. I am working with Amanda, co-chairing the first day with Dave on the gala, and you forgot to mention we're doing March too.
Oh, we were doing March.
We're
I
doing
forgot.
March. We're
We're
excited.
I swear.
Well, that's what happens when you skip around.
Yes.
Yeah, you messed us up, Dave.
And, but anyways, we gave our viewing audience an opportunity to meet you, and now we'll get down to work. The first order of business is to approve the minutes. Now, I wanted to thank Roz Miller, the Assistant Secretary. Diane was away that week, so we had our last meeting on December 26th. You may not have the minutes in front of you, they were mailed I did put a packet together with a bunch of things I want you to review as we go through the meeting. And if you received it, do you have any suggestions? Do you have anything that you want to eliminate? Without anybody raising their hand to make a change, I now call for a motion to approve the minutes of December 26th. This was our last meeting during the year in 2023.
So moved.
Moved,
Second.
and we have a second by Courtney. Dale had the first, a
Yes.
second.
Thank you.
Any other questions or concerns? All those in favor that are voting members, raise your right hand. And it looks like it's unanimous, except for those members who aren't here. The minutes of December 26th have been approved, and we certainly appreciate the fact that both Diane and Roz have more than just the responsibility of taking the minutes, which are important because we have to go back periodically and refer to them. But the fact is they have to post it. They have to post the meetings, they have to post the minutes, and it's a little bit running back and forth to town hall to do what needs to be done, and I, for one, appreciate that. The next order of business, I'm going to make a change in the agenda. I wanted our public safety people to take the floor first. I was honored that our fire chief stepped up to co-chair not only the bonfire, but the fireworks. We have been meeting with fireworks companies to find out what their feeling is, find out what we need to do as a community to shoot fireworks off. The chief has had experience, I've had experience. We're gonna start with the fireworks first. You all know by your pass-out material and by being at meetings in the past that the fireworks are gonna go off at the Governor Ames estate. They have given us permission, the trustees. They're out of Boston, and we're happy to do it. The fireworks are gonna take place on June 14th, which happens to be Flag Day. And as I say to the folks out there that may be watching this, this is not only a chance for us to salute the red, white, and blue, the American flag, but it's a chance for us to celebrate the 300th anniversary, a community that's rich in history, a community that shares a lot of givers in the town that like to do what they can to give back to the community. And when those fireworks go up in the sky, it's going to be an awful lot of folks, maybe senior adults who remember the years back, but young people who are going to think about the future of our community. So we're meeting with the fireworks company. We're talking about permits. The last one we met with was American Thunder, and they're out of North Reading, Massachusetts. They have done a lot of big-time shows that took place on Cape Cod. And we also interviewed Polytechnical, which is an outfit from Jaffrey, New Hampshire. And we have another one that we're looking at. They haven't responded. We count them certainly as someone that had the opportunity. And unless I get a phone call, we're prepared to move forward. We have a donor to pay for the fireworks. So that's one less thing we have to worry about. And that's officially going to be announced. My wife is sending me a note not to talk too long. She used to do that when I was the district governor of Rotary. She used to sit in the audience. And after so many minutes, she gave me the signal. But I wanted to say that the fireworks, again, are going to go off on June 14th. And Chief, we're waiting to get back from American Thunder. What documents?
The site plan is quote, and just so we can see where the layout is. We think we have a good plan after the meeting we had just last week. So probably along the water, that way the water could count as a buffer. I think that's probably going to be the best idea, and it'll give a lot of room for spectators to come and see and enjoy the show. I really can't think of a better location, because not only can you come into the estate to watch it, but you could be, right on Main Street and see it anywhere. So it's gonna be an amazing experience for anybody, to have in the center. So, very excited about it. I think it'll be fine. I have no concerns. We have our fire prevention division working on it. We'll have the state involved for permitting, and we'll make sure it happens. So I think we're in pretty good shape there.
I tell you, I feel very comfortable walking the site with the fire chief. When you talk about safety and concerns and the kinds of questions that the chief asks, are things that we'd have to look up if he wasn't involved. So I think we're very happy with the site. There's gonna be a picnic that's gonna take place on that same day, the 14th, at the Governor Ames Estate. The picnic is a family gathering. We're gonna encourage people to bring their blankets. There's gonna be food there as well. And there's gonna be a band concert that's gonna be held from 7 to 9 p.m. And we're gonna slide into the fireworks with God Bless America that they'll shoot off beginning at 9 o'clock sharp. So we're hoping to get the whole family together. When you shoot them off at the Governor Ames Estate, you can see them from anywhere in downtown, no doubt about it. So lots of people will be able to see it. And of course, they'll be able to find their own parking. Is that an issue, Chief, in terms of the parking? Maybe that's the deputy chief. That's something that he's gonna look into.
Yeah, we're gonna have to work that out once we, it's obviously gonna be a little difficult with getting estimates of attendance, but, yeah, that's to be determined.
I've seen some communities down the Cape, they had no parking at all, but for some reason or other, 10,000 people found a spot to park in, and off the fireworks went. So somehow it'll work out. My intention, as I said to Deputy Chief Adams, I'm going to be meeting with the police chief and himself at the station to talk about security and where security will be needed. I had mentioned to Chief Boone that we don't have to worry about the gala on December 27th. That's going to be at Stony Hill College, so the security comes from the college. Otherwise, all the other events, we have 7 events on 7 days scattered throughout the year 2025. I would like to introduce another member who's here tonight, Mr. Shaw. He's the commander at the VFW.
Hello, how you doing?
Come on in, the water's fine.
And Mr. Shaw,
We got room.
we wanted to thank you for hosting one of our open houses, and we appreciate it very much. And he not only hosted it, but he provided food for the meeting as well. So we appreciate that. And now we want to talk about we're going to get back, the fire chief and I are going to get back to the committee as to the group that we recommend. We're hoping to do that at our very next meeting. That's how fast we want to move. We want to start to plan and prepare. One of the things that the chief and I didn't mention yet, originally we thought about having the fireworks on a barge on the water. It was recommended by the fireworks company from North Reading that in order to get a barge on there, you need about 7 or 8 barges, and it's going to be quite expensive. He said there's no reason why we can't fence off an area near the pond. They have to have, 320 feet?
350 is a radius.
350 between the homes and where we shoot the fireworks. So the recent guy that we met with had all the experience and knew exactly what to do. He knew how much distance we needed and how the crowd could be blocked off. We don't want a picnic in the middle of the fireworks. And we certainly don't want to burn the town down either. Our intention is to have a fireworks display. This is a very special year. Believe it or not, the town of Easton is celebrating 300 years. That's a tremendous amount of history. Let's talk about the bonfire. We've had many suggestions made. And when I went around looking at spots, the fire chief came up with some recommendations. I stand by his recommendation because he takes that safety interest in mind. And he come up with something that I thought was very creative. Why don't you tell them about Keach Park?
So somebody told me about Keach Park as an idea. I don't wanna claim fame that I thought of it, but I went and took a look at it, and I've done many big bonfires in my career, for communities, and just my previous community I worked for with 1,000 people coming, and, my experience is you need a certain amount of room. And the issue with it is, wherever you're gonna burn this is gonna be a very large fire. I mean, you're talking, 30 by 30 by 30, 1,500 pallets, clean pallets. It'll be a big fire, really amazing. But whatever you put it on, will be damaged. So you wanna put it on some type of substrate that's not gonna be damaged. Fields are great, except you're gonna destroy the grass in a 50 by 50 area. And you'll have to fix that, have to sod put down, problematic, more cost. The parking lot at Keach Park is a gravelly, dense grade, that would be really good for the bonfire and make cleanup, and repairs pretty easy. It's big enough to do it, and it lines up really nice with where the bonfire can go. For those who have been there, if you drive in to the right, it kind of sets back a little bit towards the farm, and you could put the fire over there, and that would give you like a big semicircle area that you could rope off that people could stand. You'd have a lot of room for people to stand. And then the left side, when you come in, you could put food trucks. There's a place you could put a band. It's nice to play music during these bonfires. We get a band to play music. It's really a nice campfire on steroids kind of thing. It's really a nice event. So I think it would be good as a location to work. There's a few pieces that have to happen. We have to get obviously the buy-in from the powers that be when it comes to who oversees it, whether it's the select board or somebody through parks, so we wanna make sure that everybody's on board with that. The DPW is on board. But I think it was important to come tonight to talk about the idea of it being there. There's a couple of things with parking we'll have to work on.
Thanks for taking that question.
So, we have to work that out.
What about Militia Field that has gravel? They have a gravel field that they have said that they're willing to let us use. And then there's tons of parking. They even said they would open up Rosie's shack for food.
It's a great idea. If they're willing to let something come on that's to be
The commissioner
damaged,
said we can.
then we should take a look at that as well. So I think that's great, and I'm glad we all came here tonight so we can go take a look at that now as well.
Because there's tons of you can walk, there's walkability, and with those new sidewalks from Connor, right down Lincoln Street, you can get there easily from all areas, so.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, to
There's
parking.
more street parking
Yeah.
in the center of town with, for fireworks and stuff
And
like that.
thank
but
you to
yeah,
Ms. Anderson for that.
That's a difficulty with the other location.
Right.
Yeah,
We talked about that, so.
Yep.
It's great I totally understand that it would work for a bonfire, but the parking and the parking on both sides in that vicinity, I think would really be a nightmare.
Yeah, I think the only way that would work is if we could, you'd have, parking on one side of Chestnut Street. Maybe if we could work something out with the farm there, with some field parking. There's a lot of pieces that could work there. But the thing I do like about Keach Park is it's isolated all but one house. There's just nobody around that the fire can disturb. We're not worried about embers landing on people's homes. It's very distant from things, which is what we want, because you're talking a fire that's gonna be 100 feet tall when it's burning, and with a lot of heat, and we wanna make sure that we're protecting, the worst thing we're exposing ourselves to is a brush fire for the most part, and watching one home at Keach Park.
That's my cousin's home, so
But,
we can't.
but certainly worth looking at, because if the resources that are available there are better fit, parking, and, having the shack
Bathroom.
open, and bathrooms, like, those are certainly things. If you did it at Keach Park, you'd have to have, porta potties, and there's different avenues to it. I'd love to take a look at it, and I will, and we can report back.
Okay, thank you.
And if there's any other ideas in town where it could be, we need a spot with a lot of room. Parking is great, but it needs to have an area 50 by 50 that can be destroyed.
Yep.
That's
And
something okay with.
The commissioner said he's fine with that.
Okay.
And there are two, so if you don't like one gravel field, you can look at the other.
I will make it a point to get over there tomorrow.
Wonderful,
So
thank you.
I'll take a ride over there and see you and take a look. So
Thank you.
maybe is there a contact up there, the commissioner maybe? Somebody can
Yes,
send me?
Nate Crossman, and I
Okay.
can just, can email to or write
Email,
down.
text, anything,
Okay.
easy.
And we'll take a ride over and look at that site. We tried to be very careful about going on ball fields because they have to be repaired afterwards. And in some cases, you go to repair them, but the season has arrived and the kids need to get on the ball field. So the parking lot was a good suggestion, and Courtney, at your recommendation, we'll take a look at the other site and try to come back at our next meeting on the fourth Tuesday of the month and make a recommendation on the fireworks and the bonfire and move forward. How does that sound?
Good, great.
I will be away for that meeting. I apologize for my lack of attendance, I can tell you now, but I'll be sure a report gets to you. The other comment I have, you want me to talk about the date? Just some experience I've had, we've done a lot of these big bonfires, is that although doing it on the holiday is nice, trying to align those, my experience with these events is that the target audience, if the goal is to have it on a holiday, then it makes sense. If the goal is to have a bigger crowd, I highly recommend a Saturday people aren't away. And a Monday night, because it's going to be a night in October, and it'll be a school night. You're going to have a lot of families with young kids who would enjoy this. I know, like, I have a 3-year-old and a 12-year-old. At 6 or 7 o'clock at night, I'm not bringing my 3-year-old anywhere. But if it was a Saturday night, that's okay. It's fine. So just a thought. Dave and I were talking about it, that it may be worth considering a different night. It's completely up to you, but just I wanted to share some experience I have with bonfires, that you will pick a Saturday that nobody has anything to do. Holiday weekends, people are up and away, and I know it's early on, so if there's a date change, you might be able to handle that okay. But just some insight I wanted to share, and ultimately it's all your decision.
So that would be October 11th, which is a Saturday, instead of the 13th, which is a holiday, Memorial Day. In October.
Columbus Day.
Columbus Day.
Columbus Day. Old school.
13th.
I'll email it to you.
So you recommend it on the long weekend, but on the Saturday?
One on the long weekend, that would be the best day of the long weekend, but if you're completely flexible around the date, picking a Saturday that isn't a holiday weekend is certainly an option, because when people aren't going away or making plans with their family,
You're right.
and they say, geez, what can we do tonight? And, oh, there's a Saturday night with nothing going on, there's a bonfire at Easter.
And of course, it's a school night, so the 11th would make sense on a Saturday. And I wanted to ask you, Chief, just to give a brief review of the time. What time do we set it off, and what time do you think it burns out?
What time did we come up with the other night when we looked at
6.
the sunset? It was sunset, was it 6?
6.
So I would say that you could probably tell people to get there for 6 with a light off probably at 6:30, 6:45-ish. A bonfire takes, because we don't use any accelerants like diesel or anything, we keep it clean with clean straw and pallets. So it takes a little bit longer to get going. So that's about 20 minutes to get burning. And then it'll burn unbelievable for about 45 minutes. And then it'll burn down to the best campfire you've ever been around. And the ultimate goal is people need to be back 150, 200 feet at the beginning. And the fire department will be there to protect everybody and make sure we have our hose lines in place just in case. And then as the fire burns down, as we call flash, it's amazing when it happens, you get to see it. And then it burns down quickly into a big pile. And we move the line closer and closer. So eventually you can get within like 4 or 5 feet of it with some campfire chairs. And ultimately, young families go home, but some people stay and just, they sit in their chairs and they sit around it, because it will burn all night long. We'll have to staff that all night long. And it will be hot for a week before it can really be dealt with.
And we'll have one member of our committee that'll stay all night. His name is Dale.
Oh.
We actually need a shovel committee. That's what we'll have to.
No, not me. No.
Because what you actually do on the overnight is you monitor it, obviously keep people away from it, but on the overnight you shovel it in on itself, and you turn a pile, the size of this room, and it burns down on its own, and then you do a little bit of shoveling, you turn something, half the size of this table. So it ends up being, it's not a super heavy lift, you just gotta get a couple people willing to do it.
Got an additional responsibility here.
So I wanted to thank both the fire chief and the deputy police chief for being here this evening and for their participation. and tell Chief Boone that, we'll get together
Absolutely.
and
Yeah, in
figure
terms
out.
of like traffic safety and, security for all the events, the block party, the gala, the, bonfire, we'll be working obviously with Dave and staffing it, as much as we need. We have partners we can work with. We're part of the Metrolec, it's a law enforcement council, so for big events, we can get additional resources in, like mountain bike officers, stuff like that from other towns. So, that's certainly an option we're looking at, so.
We thank you both for being here, and I know that, our fire chief has a reputation. He's the guy that had the largest bonfire in the Commonwealth at Plainville, Massachusetts, where he was chief. And I thought that Sharon had the largest one at the water.
I don't know if that's been qualified by the Guinness Book of World Records, but it was one of the larger, I will say. One of the larger, so I appreciate the plug.
And we'll
Somebody's
make
gonna
sure-
fact check that.
We'll make sure we get it in the minutes of the meeting. But anyways, any other questions you might have from our public safety people? They'll be back in the future as we get closer. And of course, the next meeting, I'm hoping that our committee, all of us, even though we have a committee that votes on motions, we have another committee that makes recommendations, and we like to listen to those. So maybe the bonfire, maybe the fireworks, we can start rolling by approving it at the next meeting, once we get the location. So,
Can I ask
question.
one quick question?
Go ahead, Amanda.
Are we allowed, so we're doing the first day event at the high school, are we allowed to have any kind of alcohol truck on site? Like if Shoveltown Brewery were to come and do, we're thinking food trucks, and
Yeah.
would they be able to do?
So that would be processed through the town hall and the select board.
Okay.
There are procedures for a one-day liquor license.
Okay,
So
but there's no
for-
issue with it being on
We didn't
school
know 'cause it was
property?
on school
That I don't
Okay,
know.
okay, that's fine.
I
didn't
don't know
if you
the answer to that. I don't know what the board's allowed to approve, but
That's
that
fine.
does go through, the town administrator's office,
Okay.
and, there's a permitting process for that, so.
Another town, when we did the bonfire, we specifically recommended that there not be alcohol because there were kids there. And it's something for us to consider as a committee. The bonfire and the fireworks, try to stay away from alcohol. But the gala is a different situation. So, Joan, you had a suggestion?
Oh, I had no suggestion, just,
Yeah.
She was
yes.
gonna help her with the permitting.
Yeah.
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 But
Thank you.
it's just something that we might as well bring it up now and at least talk about it before we make a decision. Any other questions of the fire chief?
I just have one comment, to your point about the school, somebody who serves on the school committee. I think it's a two-pronged approach if you want to address that, between the select board and the town administrator's office, and also Dr. Cabral and the school committee.
Okay,
Cause it's their school,
right,
Yeah.
so, but I think a dual-pronged approach, you could probably get your answer.
okay, alright, we'll work on that.
I have friends on the school.
Okay, we
Okay.
thank you both for being here this evening. You're welcome to stay. But obviously, there aren't a lot of seats for you to sit, but you're welcome to stay, and if you have to go because of commitments, we understand.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Okay. The next item on the agenda is the chair report. I'm gonna be brief on that because we have so many things to cover tonight. But the first thing I wanted to do was to have our voting members vote on a vice chair. It's always nice for the chair to have a vice chair to bounce things off of. And it's not like there's a lot of people campaigning that wanna handle this responsibility. It can be time consuming, but if you work together with the chair, you can kind of share some of the responsibilities. So I'm asking those committee members who are appointed by the select board, is there any interest in someone serving as chair? And if you would like to make a recommendation on someone that you think should be vice chair, make a motion and we'll vote on it.
I'd like to make a motion, if he's interested. Mr. Dale Carister.
Who? What? Where?
I second that.
We're fighting over the second, but she said it first, I think.
You know, I just want to remind everybody that there was a coup before I was removed when I served previously. So this is like down in the Philippines with the Aquino family coming back in power.
It's just that, Dale, you do so much now, and if you wouldn't put too much more on your plate, then
You
I
might
think-
as well do it, Dale.
Yeah.
Easy
And
for you
you've
to
got
say,
a-
Joe.
You've got a- you've got a great record.
And Dale, if you take that responsibility, I will take you off the hook for staying all night at the bonfire.
Well, I didn't want to say anything where our public safety official here. If I could have a bottle of bourbon by the bonfire, I'm all set. You got me in, so.
Dale, might be
Good
Good man, there you go.
I was thinking of s'mores.
So, oh, and s'mores too. Bourbon and s'mores really go great together. Yes.
We have a motion that Dale Carister be the vice chair. That doesn't take him away from his responsibility in the PR area with the community as our liaison. Do we have a second?
We don't.
We had a third and fourth.
We have third and fourth, yeah.
Okay.
No other takers here? Anyone? Anyone?
We have a second.
From Joan.
All those members that are voting members on the committee, raise your right hand to say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
I abstain. I abstain.
Okay, only one
Abstention.
person abstains, but we understand. Anyways,
I haven't had one of those before.
congratulations, put your hands together for everybody. Well, that ends our meeting, ladies and
Thank
gentlemen.
you.
The next thing that I wanted to pass by the voting members is that we do a TV show once a month. It's on the second Tuesday of the month at the ECAT studio. The whole purpose of the show is to promote the celebration. Not just in the year 2024, we did it in 2023, and we'd like to continue it through the year. Invite everybody at one time or another to be on the air to talk about their events. For example, next Tuesday, the first Tuesday in February, we have Amanda and Anne Marie who are going to join myself and a guy who's kind of filling in. His name is Brian Kaufman. He did some work at BZ, and everybody knows Brian, and he's a top-notch guy. So I'm suggesting and recommending that he co-chair that radio TV show with me, and we'll continue to promote. So is that worth a motion?
Sure.
So moved.
So moved by
Second.
Dale, our vice chair.
Second.
A second by Roz Miller. All those in favor, raise your right hand.
Aye.
Opposed? The show is a go. And I'll notify Brian that he's official. He was gonna do it anyways. For a while, he was the only one who would say yes, but every time we have a show, we like to have a different show and involve people who are involved in different things. The next thing I'd like to do, the Herzl family's here this evening, and I have, Hetzel, I'm sorry.
Nor.
Okay. The Hetzel family has arrived, and I wanted to ask them, and I've talked to them about it. I need a couple of liaisons to work with Langwater. Langwater has agreed to meet with us on Thursday at 10 o'clock. We're gonna meet at the farm, and they're willing, as part of the celebration, to run a fun family day. That's with pizza and ice cream and all the stuff that the kids would enjoy. And we need someone that can meet with them once in a while just to talk about the plans and to make it happen. And that date was scheduled for April 19th, that's a Saturday.
That's a school.
We stayed away from the 20th, that's when it was originally scheduled, and that's Easter Sunday. We stayed away from Good Friday, and we thought that Saturday would be a way to go, and I think the farm is agreeable to it. And they want to go all out to make a nice celebration for families, so.
Dave,
Yes.
it is Easter weekend,
Yes.
but it's also the beginning of school vacation.
Those are two good points that we're gonna take in consideration, because the date may change. The only motion I'm looking for tonight is to appoint, two volunteers, to, kinda coordinate and be our liaison between the farm and of course our committee, which involves everybody. So, do we have a motion, and we'll work on that date, because they had all suggested the following week.
So moved. I got 3 now, so.
Okay.
Second.
A third motion by Gail, a second by,
Courtney.
Courtney. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Smile at the camera. The motion is carried.
Thank you, Tom.
Okay, I appreciate it. Couple of things I wanted to mention. I want to give a thank you and a shout out to Diane, our secretary. She not only went and got our post office box, but she insisted they give us number 300. So we have P.O. Box 300. And I was thinking about, does it matter what the address is? It certainly does. There are 2 keys. Our treasurer gets a key, and our secretary gets a key, and they'll be picking up the mail. There could be checks in the mail. There could be information from volunteers that want to join our committee. So we're looking forward to doing that, and
There were no checks in the box today.
okay.
There was an Eversource bill for the previous box owner, but,
She said that would happen. She said
oh,
that would
really?
happen, yeah.
Yeah.
We send a notice out through WeCat to the folks out there that may be watching. We're looking for volunteers for our committee. We're looking for donors. Our post office box again is P.O. Box 300, and the post office is located on Depot Street. And we look forward to hearing from you. You may have some suggestions. We also have an email address, and that's a very simple one. It's Easton 300 dot, don't forget the dot, 2025 at gmail.com. I repeat, Easton 300 dot
2025.
2025, and of course, at gmail.com. Okay, we're all set with that. I'd like to share some good news with you before I go to other reports. I've been over at Southeast Regional School. A couple of students thought that I taught there because I've been in and out so many different times. But I had gone to the superintendent first to get permission. And one of the things that they agreed to do is to help us with printing. I got 25 posters here. They are posters that I'd like to hang in businesses scattered throughout the town. It shows that we have, it shows our logo, and we thank you so much for doing that. What a great job. And it lists just the events. And how do we pay for it? Printed by Southeast Regional Vocational High School. We give them credit for doing it. And then, of course, hosted by our Tricentennial Committee, bringing families and community together. So it gives the year when we began up to 2025. So these are all laminated. I want to pass one around. I'm going to give these to Ken Michael. He's going to be dealing with the businesses. You might want to take some of these too, Dale.
I'll take 2.
And what we're interested in doing is putting them around town. And of course, they're not a piece of paper, so they're going to last a little longer. And if I went to a printer for this, we'd have to pay for it. So why not get as many freebies as we can to take some sting off the budget.
And I think, Dave, that Piper Journales should have one to frame for home.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You keep that,
She did a beautiful job.
and if you need help taking out to the car, Dale will take care of that.
That too. I'm detecting a theme here.
Dale does everything.
There we go.
So, there are gonna be some things, folks, that we have to pay for. We've got some printers, in the area that, bend over backwards to help us. But, you know, this was made by the students, and it's a freebie.
Great.
And Southeast Regional wants to do what they can. They're gonna make up some wooden signs, 4 or 5. Wooden signs that are gonna be scattered in different parts of the community. So when you ride by in your car, you'll be able to see the sign that promotes the celebration. I'm gonna share what's gonna be on it so you know. It was recommended by the school that take some stuff off and add some stuff that they thought would make sense. If you're riding by, you're looking at the big letters, all you're gonna see is the 300th anniversary and the logo. You may not have time to see who printed it. That won't be on the board, and it doesn't need to have who hosted it. So there are some adjustments that we'll make. So I think that's terrific news. They also are putting together banners. Now, I got 3 possible bidders that are bidding on the banners. And I just wanted to cover this briefly. This is what one sign company did. They did a banner. The banner, as you know, is 24 by 48. The banner's gonna come with hardware. And of course, we're thinking about using Eastern colors. We're certainly gonna have the logo on it. And we're talking about 60 banners, and that could grow to 80. I haven't anybody yet say to me no. I'm in shock, whether it be for a banner,
You're talking pole banners that will go
pole
on
banners,
poles.
$300, and of course, the best price come in, and it's the guy Ed, who's from Easton,
Bass.
and how do you pronounce his last name?
It's Bass.
I thought it was Basie.
No,
Bass.
it's Bass.
Is it? I didn't-
Bass.
He,
BASSE.
he
Yeah.
come up with a
Bass.
price of $94 for all the hardware and for the banner itself. And he has done banners before. He beats another bidder, the Signs by Tomorrow. They're another local group. They're the ones that did this banner.
What's,
And of
Dave,
course-
can you hold it up? What's the
Yeah.
difference between the two?
There's a white
Can you
border
put the two
around
of
the
them together?
logo.
Yeah, can you hold them up together so we can see the difference?
But that did look the same.
If, yeah.
These are,
No, this is just other examples.
these are just other examples.
Can
I made this one out because I thought.
I don't mind helping design things if you guys need help designing banners or whatever. I really don't mind if you guys need somebody to help.
She's very good at it.
We certainly will
Design
lean
that
on you
stuff.
for that stuff. What they do is they have designers at the printing companies that actually come up with suggestions for us. That's what we've done so far. But in terms of us trying to decide what's gonna go on it, you can work on this one now, because we still have to design it. We can take their suggestion. This was one of their suggestions.
And these are numbers you can
Ed's doing one himself.
What is the difference in the price between Signs by Tomorrow? and-
Signs by Tomorrow is charging us $140, including the hardware.
Okay, okay.
So there's
And
no
how many
comparison.
how many of the banners with hardware do you think can be put in the downtown area?
Well, I'm gonna walk the site with the DPW Director, Dave Fields. We're probably talking about 22 on the main street. We're talking about quite a few on Center Street, and we're gonna put a bunch up at Five Corners.
I have 2 sold for Main Street, that's why I'm asking.
I have 25
Oh, you win.
already, but some
You
of them
win.
are freebies as a result of hefty
Mine were paying
donations.
customers.
That's part of their give back.
One
But
of the-
everybody in town's gonna want one. They had 94 signs in Sharon. Walpole did likewise, they had about 70. So we're gonna top that just by virtue that everybody wants to participate in this. And $300, what that does is, we use the twist 300. $200 of that goes back into our kitty. We actually make a profit, but that pays for some of the free signs. So we'll still make a profit, so it's a win-win situation. Southeast Regional is also doing the same thing. They don't have the same vinyl sign. They're not there during the summer season. The students are all home. So I wouldn't be able to go back and say, like I can to a printer, can you do 25 more? Because people are gonna, once they see these, they're gonna wanna jump on the bandwagon. Why do I say that? In some towns, they put up the family name. The Clifton family goes on the bottom. Families come down and take their picture at the pole, because that's their sign. And then at the end, we give the banners to all the people that bought them. So they get them back once they come down. DPW agreed to put them up and to take them down. Go ahead, Joan.
Just a question. Is there going to be room in the bottom of the banner where the company name or family name is to put a small logo?
From experience,
I would think that
some
would help
people-
sell it a little better.
Yeah.
But
we're not gonna have any problem selling them. We
Okay.
found out in other communities that eliminate the logo because some don't have it, some do. To make it simple, these are gonna be in big enough letters so you'll be able to see, Northeast Savings Bank. But it's something to discuss. Some people have logos, some people have a half a page of
no,
stuff.
I'm just
Yeah.
talking something very small.
Yeah.
Like they could even go next to the name.
Yeah, next to the name.
You probably have to talk to the sign people
Yes.
also, because
Yeah,
a
might be
logo is a little more difficult than just straight writing. They'd have to have,
We can pursue that.
And if it's black and
Uh,
white or
yeah,
in
you-
color.
I'm in favor of giving people what they want,
yeah,
Yeah.
sign company.
Depending on how
and you know why?
big it's printed,
No,
the
I'm
logo,
just
I,
talking
Yeah.
small.
right,
know
but
why?
the logo would have to be a certain,
They donated
make sure it doesn't
money.
get pixelated.
BPI.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
it should be a certain size.
The fact that they donated money, but if you could do what you could to develop something and share with us, that's what we can give to the printer and say, this is what you print.
Yeah,
And just leave the space, or put someone in there, and you might wanna put your own name in there.
Give her this,
Family of, that's the least we can do is give you a banner.
yeah, give her this one too. to look.
Yeah, yeah, why don't you take this one too, there's just a couple of
Oh, okay.
examples. The black one was too tough, too dark to see, and the white one kinda got lost, and I just keyed in on the eastern colors.
Yeah,
Is
red
red-
pops out.
The red?
No.
It's-
Is that supposed to be
It
orange?
tends to attract.
Is it supposed to be orange? I don't know, but it feels red. It looks red.
Now, maybe I'm colorblind, but I was told this was orange.
I think.
it looks red, it's
It
red.
definitely
But
looks
also,
red.
we're
Unless the
using
lighting is-
blue, this blue for everything.
Yeah.
And,
So-
right, like to go with,
Yeah, like we're kind of
Like,
branding
we need
everything
some
in
branding.
blue. Any, yeah,
Some
that should all
consistency.
match.
So we'll let you play around with it and maybe you can bring it to the next meeting. Or if you can email me something I can share with the committee.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
Lots of gifts.
Would you like some more?
Wonderful.
No, all this is good, it's helpful to have what you already have.
We have
It's
another
easy,
question.
consistent,
Go ahead.
yes.
Don't attack me. I have no affiliation with Signs by Tomorrow, but they're about, what, $50 a part? Could you have, because they're both local businesses, could you have not gone to Signs by Tomorrow and split the work and say, hey, this is the price we have? Can you meet it? That way they're both involved, cause I feel.
I'm not sure if that's a legal way to do it.
But, and they're Brockton.
When you
They're
bid,
Brockton, not Easton.
you give us a price
Signs by Tomorrow's in Brockton.
And you don't go to the other sign company and say, can you go lower than this? That shows favoritism.
Is that
You know what I mean, Dale?
Is that Easter?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
they're
still in
Easter.
Easter. They're Easter.
I thought that was
Well, I
Friday.
don't think it's
On
where
Belmont
you're-
Street?
You're
Yeah.
holding them
No,
hostage or
that's
anything,
Easter.
you're
That's
just gonna
still
say,
Easter.
hey,
Yeah.
listen,
Says the
you know,
machine
this
here.
is the price I'm
You
looking
do the
for,
400.
we'll split the work, because then there's two, so there's two sign companies in Easton, and one's totally left out. It's
Well,
just my
but-
opinion.
Yeah.
We want
I
all the
felt like
signs to
so-
look different if
That's
they
a
were
good
being
suggestion
printed.
to,
Right,
to
but
look
if
at.
you
I
kinda
found
do
out
the price,
in other towns, you go to one printer,
Yeah, I don't know.
and the one
consistent.
printer keeps it
I do too.
because you have to keep going back. Because sometimes there could be something misspelled, or there could be during the summer, 10 more people wanna sign. We don't have to worry about poles, we got plenty of poles on Center Street, so. But, just to add to your suggestion, there's no reason why we can't go to another printer for something else
Thank you.
that we're gonna need.
Right,
Southeast Regional's doing the posters.
yeah.
We could give the low bidder, Ed is a longtime Eastern resident, and then we could go back to signs for tomorrow, to do something else that we need.
Yeah, I mean, I have no
Yeah.
affiliation with them, I was just wondering.
Yeah,
Aren't we gonna be doing banners and stuff? Maybe you could go to them for banners.
we're gonna be doing banners
Parade
Yeah.
banners.
for the parade, for the
Go to them
gala.
for the banners.
So maybe that's something we ought to think about. Okay, I wanna move along. The final thing I wanted to say that I've been popping around, and of course, this involves Courtney because she's our fundraising chair. And, we sort of agreed that, because we've been dealing with the banks, that we would approach them, separately. I have, approached, the bank in Brockton, although they have lot of Easternites that, bank there. And they've agreed to give us, $15,000 in 2 allotments.
Bank in Brockton, Bank up.
So,
What is this? for?
7,500, it's called the,
Sharon.
SCU
Oh,
credit
Oh,
union.
this is the
Sharon.
same, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're
SCU
sitting-
credit
Women's
union
Bank of Brockton.
is good for 15,000. But it fits into their budget by doing a little bit in 2024 and another bit, so that's 15,000. We have 25,000 for the fireworks. A longtime, Eastern resident who doesn't live in the town now, but wanted to make sure that, he could make a contribution. And I'll leave that up to Ken to spread that news when he comes to the next meeting. I also had the opportunity to call another Courtney Palm at the Northeast Savings Bank. I originally went to her when I first joined the committee, because they were one of the bigger banks in the town. And then I also went to our treasurer, who's also the treasurer of the Bank of Easton. And we felt as a committee that it's only fair that we go back to them first to give them a choice as to what they're gonna sponsor. And then we'll spread the word out throughout the rest of the committee. And I know that Courtney is handling all the high rollers, and she's waiting for the P.O. box to have a delivery as well. But in speaking to Courtney Palm, just so happens that my secretary in Sharon for 30 years was her cousin. Her last name is Palm. So she sent me to help with the Boylan State Park 100th anniversary. But here I'm back again, and she sees no need. I was gonna meet with Courtney and Ken, and we were gonna go over and sit down, and now we have a vice chair with Courtney and go over the whole thing. She suggested, let me get together with the president, count us in, we're on board. I just wanna get the approval of the president on the number. So she's on board, my lips are sealed, but we have a major donor who is gonna set an example for the rest of the community on the 25,000. So I expect that the decision's gonna be made tomorrow, and the check will be in the mail. So we're off and running. 25, 25, 15, it all adds up. And then Ken is handling Bank of Easton with Jeanette. And we as a committee appreciate whatever anybody can do. I always remember a kid coming to me with a piggy bank and donating $15 to a celebration. And a dealership said to me, if a kid can empty his piggy bank, I can step up and do a major donation. So I think we're off and running. I'm starting to see things happening. I'm starting to see the committee expand. I'm starting to see people in the community talking about the celebration. I'm starting to see fundraising money come in and people donating things. So I'm excited about it. And now I wanted to ask Courtney, I know you're on the agenda, but have you had any vibes at all from any of the high rollers in terms of donations yet?
No, but I have reached out to at least, I think it's 12 or 13 so far. I will say there's one, but they're thinking, determining what they're gonna do, which these things take time, I'm used to, but Persistent Pumpkin does not let them off the hook. And one of those people is that Jason Bourne that Brian had asked me to reach out to. I have called him at least 5 times, and he has not called me back. So if someone, I might need to pass that on if someone has a relationship with him, because he's not, even though I was,
He told
I
Brian
was told to,
that he's on board.
yeah.
Just let me know the figure. But sometimes they travel, they got all the things going on, but.
He's had time. Like once a week, yeah.
Leonardo?
Yes.
Do you wanna speak to?
You do?
Yes.
Oh, good. Would you tell him that his new friend who's been calling him that he needs to go back?
I know him too,
Oh,
Courtney.
good, thank you.
Okay.
I'm starting to get offended.
Okay, anything else, Courtney, that you wanna mention?
No, thank you, but I do just wanna say congratulations again for coming in with our first sponsor. And I have to say, it's like mad swagger in the sponsorship world to come in from another town for Easton's celebration. I mean, it really set the bar high, even for the other banks, the banks of Easton, and for other people to see. Even the town next door is supporting us. So I think that was a great way to start things off. And it shows that you know what you're talking about too. So congratulations all around.
Well, thank you for the applause that refreshes. I wanted to say to you that one of the things that the Bank of Easton, we know who's gonna do the fireworks. The Bank of Northeast Savings Bank, I should say, they would like to do the gala. That was a request that Courtney had. We also have been talking to Ken about doing something special for Lee Williams, who actually made the first donation. He went to a select board meeting and donated $10,000 years ago. Thinking, he said, I want the money to go towards the 300th anniversary, because he was involved back when they did the 275th and 250th. Been talking about the possibility of using his name for an event. Ken is checking that out.
Right, we were discussing, just to let everyone know, we have, our highest level is the $25,000 level, but what we were saying is perhaps listing, since the money's already been given from the foundation, perhaps making like a $50,000 level, overarching as like the gala, I don't know, I'm thinking like what's the grand marshal, but for a gala, I don't know, but we'll have to but we're coming up with another level, so it wouldn't be, since that money's already in, it wouldn't take away from our,
Master of Ceremonies.
thank you, that would be a nice level.
The level that we're talking about is being used at the state level. And we're gonna approach the town administrator about meeting with the board, talk about 50,000. And I think I had mentioned to you that other towns donate money to the cause. Walpole donated 100,000. And Sharon, they donated 50,000. And after the celebration was over, we went to the town meeting and gave them 55,000 back. After all bills were paid. That doesn't normally happen, but it's something you can consider. Secretary's report.
Well, the minutes have been approved, I'll post them, and Ross has been approved by the board, appointed by the select board, to be, even though she's been doing the assistant job, she's now official for the, so that's a good thing.
And the cookie. Two of you.
Yeah.
That's on the agenda, yeah.
It's okay.
She met the treasurer's report.
Okay, I do have a couple of invoices that will need to get voted on. One is for $275, and that is for 100 brochures from, is that this? No. Two-sided, 10-point cover, 100 gloss, 100 pound gloss paper.
Yeah, and were there two different ones at 100?
Yes,
Yes.
that's those.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's,
we approved those at the last meeting.
this one we did? No, because I don't think so.
Okay, no
It was
problem.
a different one.
What is the brochure? What is?
This. We did 100 of a harder copy and 100 of a lighter copy.
Okay, I'll take this for the record.
If I can make a suggestion before we do a vote here. If you get anything like this in the future, pass it on and we'll get Southeast Regional to print it. The only thing is how fast you need it. If you need it fast, you have no choice, you gotta go to a printer. That's how we can save some money for the future. You looking for a motion, Jeanette?
Yes.
So moved.
Okay.
4. For those keeping score at home.
Second.
We have a motion by Dale, second by Diane. All those in favor, any discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed? Motion is carried.
And I have a second invoice also for Albert Bass and Associates for $85, and this is for a couple of sign logo display.
That was for the open house.
Probably.
Oh.
Yeah, I had to approve it. The open house that she, big poster board that she took home.
That's
On board.
$85.
Do we have a motion?
Anyone?
Dale.
So moved.
You have a short name. You and
We have a
Joan.
motion again by Dale. We want to mix it up once in a while.
Yeah.
So you
You have a longer name, but go ahead.
Courtney,
Yeah.
Courtney, a second.
Yeah.
Any more discussion? All those in favor of the motion to pay this bill, raise your right hand. Okay, the motion is carried.
And just to update everyone on the balance, not including these two invoices, the previous balance would have been $52,058.95 from the original seed money.
I think I sent you the receipt for the post office box.
Did you get the check yet? I don't know what the I have to send those invoices to the town to be paid. I don't know what what their process is, but it has been
Okay.
sent to them, so, yep.
I think the end of the month.
They only do bills once a month?
Well, it depends on the select board meetings,
Oh, really?
when they vote on them.
Well, I don't think they have to
sign the
vote.
bills, they sign
They
them.
maybe they sign them, but as far as I was given to understand, we have the autonomy to vote for our own invoices, so. That's all I got.
Okay,
Good.
I know that
Now
Ken
we're
is
moving on
dealing
to
with you and your boss in
Yes.
terms of.
Yep.
Okay. Let's go to our other reports. We're gonna start with the coordinators. I'm gonna ask Amanda and Anne Marie. They co-chairing not only our first day celebration, but they're gonna be working with me for the annual gala. I gave them a lot of time off in between. January 1st is the first day celebration, and they don't have to worry until the end of the year in December. But we're so happy to have you guys involved. Go ahead, take it away.
Okay, so one of the things we're working on, we did bring, I didn't bring enough, I'm sorry. I ran out of paper and everything was full. So for first day, the really biggest activity is we are working with companies to either do a drone show, a laser show, or fireworks. So the differences are the drones, you have to have a lot of drones. They can do customized things, like they can write out EC300, they can do a shovel, things like that, depending on how many drones you have. The drone guy is in Texas, and he's given us more drones, so it's gonna come down to really who will give us more bang, so to speak, for our buck. The laser show, the one, we talked to the company that did the one in Walpole, that was $65,000. So we priced out one at 25, 26, they're about 15 minutes long. The fireworks are from the Pyrotechnic up in Jaffrey, which was sold to this guy. But anyway, so we're looking at fireworks, that would be a spectacular show. I know you're doing fireworks on the other time as well, so it's just, we're kind of just negotiating. So I have all the information, so if anybody's never seen a drone show, it's really quite interesting.
New Bedford did one.
New Bedford
New
did
Year's this
one,
year.
New Year's for the kids. My son went to it, and they did like a whale, because it's like a whale.
So they do it all at the high school outside? on the
Yeah, so
field?
we met with him and he told us how much space we needed. He actually had like a Google Maps view of the high school and all the area, and he suggested they do it in the back, one of the back soccer fields, and then all the attendees can sit in the stands and on the field, you know, in that whole area, and look up, cause it's like at an angle, so they need a lot of space, so they would use one of the back fields and then just have everybody out further.
And the fireworks, the Pyrotechnic company who also does the lasers and the fireworks, they can also spell out 300. They gave us a map of the area where they'd be going for. Of course, it all has to be approved. They do all the permitting with the fire themselves.
How many
They have to do that.
drones would they actually have?
So if you did the drone show, you can do 100, 500, and 1,000.
No, 100, 200, 300. So you can do if you do 100, you get if you book it 5 months out, you get 75 additional drones. So if you do 100, you get 175, if we book it earlier. If you do 300, you get 75 more. That goes up to $75,000. He said you don't have to do it by the 100 either. He said he can do, 100, 150, 200, and then, the pricing was very much the same as the laser. So all those emails are here as well, so you guys can look at them.
So this is the pricing, 25,000 up to
Yeah.
125,000. How long is a drone show?
It's about the same, it's about 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes, yeah, which they're every option is about the same amount of time.
10 minutes for 75,000?
Yeah.
Or 100.
Or 25,000, 25,000 is the
But even
the
the
low end.
fireworks shows, that's what they are. They're like 10 to 12 minutes long. So I know that.
I will say the fireworks, I believe, are a bit more cost effective. I don't think they're quite as
Yeah,
expensive.
the fireworks in our town, the day we scheduled, would be 20 minutes to a half hour show.
Yeah, so the fireworks are more cost effective. Also with the drones, they have to be able to fly. So if it's a really windy day, they would reschedule. Also with the lasers, you have to make fog. So they have to bring in fog machines because the atmospheric conditions. So there are conditions to each one that we have to really look at.
Yeah, and we also have to remember it's January, so it's going to be cold. So we don't really want to do more than 10 to 15 minutes because people will not want to be out there that long. So yeah, so those are our options. So
the same company that you spoke to in New Hampshire, they also have done many things where we worked, and they also did a men's wedding, which they did a great job at that for fireworks.
So we
They
have
can
to have-
also do 300, so.
If they can do that in fireworks.
So
Yeah.
our security for 100 drones would be police officers in helicopters. I'm only kidding.
Yeah.
And they said they take care of all the permitting, any FAA permitting that needs to be done,
Right.
that's all included in their pricing,
Yeah,
so.
they do have
It's
to
all
go through the
inclusive of
FAA.
travel, travel permitting, the drones, the
Mhm.
flyers, I don't know what they're called, operators, I guess.
Cause they're out of
So.
Texas, so.
Yep.
Can I just ask, you're saying you'd only want 10 or 15 minutes because it's January and it's outside.
Mhm.
But you're gonna have food trucks out there, so you're expecting people to be outside
Everything
with
else
food
is
trucks?
inside. All our whole event during the day is inside, so this would just be a head outside for this, 30 minutes by the time you get outside and the show starts. So I think we're envisioning people having already gone to a food truck, go inside, sit down,
Yeah.
enjoy, and then go out just at the end and then leave.
And then leave, yeah.
Yeah.
Because the cost is so prohibitive if we did
Yeah.
a half an hour to 45 minutes.
Mhm.
This just seems really expensive to
Yeah.
me for
It-
what you're talking about,
Mhm.
or I'm not sure how, necessary really that is to spend that kind of money for that shorter.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really a big bang, I guess you could say. That was that's our kind of kickoff for the year. So we definitely wanted to incorporate something big and exciting. What that is up to the committee as a whole to decide.
It, on a positive note, well, the way I see it, it is also for marketing purposes, like, since I'm from Michigan, they keep showing this lion, at all of the Detroit Lions games, and it's a drone lion, if you wanna Google it. And it looks really cool, and they're using that, like, it's shown repeated just a lot. So I'm thinking like, whatever if it says 300, whatever, like, we can use that on our Facebook page, we can use that certain, we could use it more than just that one time.
Yep.
A photo, a good photo.
So it
page.
depends on
just
if
a
you,
photo
if you're
of it?
Yeah,
leaning
and-
Or
towards.
video. Yep.
A photo or video,
Photo,
yeah.
video. We have
If
Kristen
you're leaning
Tresco.
Yeah.
towards
Or
a
you could
drone
do
show,
something for a
the
lot
more
less money.
drones, the more detailed
Can't put it in the sky.
No.
your things can be. Like, we probably couldn't do the whole Tricentennial logo with 200.
But we did show him the logo, and he
But
did
we
say, you could do some kind of clock, we could probably
Right.
do the outline of the clock, we can definitely do 300, that kind of stuff, so
Right.
it wouldn't have the entire logo, but it would definitely
We could
incorporate
do a
pieces of it.
shovel, like, we could do
Yeah, so
things
the-
that,
The drone show does give you a bit of flexibility with that, so that, anyways, we
Yeah.
need to come up, I think, with something exciting to draw people to attend, and like Courtney said, can you reuse photos and video of it for marketing purposes later. Like I said, Chris Tresco will take photos, I'm sure, and Eric Wilthorpe, I'm sure we can ask him as well to attend and take some photos, and so we could definitely use that.
I think this gives us an opportunity as a committee, all of us, to think about it.
Mhm.
And of course,
For
it
sure.
will be back on the agenda at the next month.
Yep.
Is there anything you wanna say about the indoor activities?
So, let's see, so we did drones and that, and again, we'll be following up with all of these people and trying to get the best price we can. Although they seem pretty standard all across the board with everybody we've talked to.
There are a few companies that do these as well, so there are not a lot of options to get comparisons, right?
Right. Drones are relatively new, so, and very trending, so, we'd still be working on that. One of the things that we're doing at the high school is we are gonna do a soup cook-off with prizes, and Karen Hetzel and I met on that, so Karen's the, chairperson of that, so we're gonna try and get as many restaurants as we can to come into the high school, do a soup cook-off, people will vote, like they used to with the old chili cook-off at, the,
Harvest Fair.
Harvest Fair with the beans, and we'll do first, second, third prize. And one thing we're trying to do as Karen approaches, and we've got a substantial list of restaurants, that's why we just didn't do chili, because not everybody does chili, is we were thinking if they would share their recipes, we can share them with you and put them in the cookbook. So that's one of the things Karen's gonna say, we've got a cookbook going out for the 300th, would you share this recipe with us? And whether they win or lose, I mean, they have to be done now. working on that, and we're so happy, that she's doing that, so that's one of the things we're doing. We also, in the packets I put, we got a lot of prices for a lot of things, an indoor disco, roller rink, there were a whole bunch of things.
Roller rink, we have, inflatable obstacle course, black light inflatable axe throwing, mechanical snowboarding, Wild West shootout. We wanted to kind of get a handful of activities that we could put into the gyms, especially because there's so much space. There are 2 gyms at the high school that we can use. We were thinking if we only do 1 of these or 2 of these, that's fine. The roller rink we thought was pretty cool. That includes skates, the rental, deliveries on top of that, but that's, I mean, $3,000 is the roller rink, quote.
Inside the gym.
Yep, so they bring it all.
the rink
They
in.
bring the rink in, so they
It won't ruin
picture,
the basketball.
They'll
they
have
bring
their-
it in.
They'll bring
Yep,
the
it
rink in,
comes-
so it has its own floor.
Yep.
That they set down, they can also do an ice rink too, like a
Roller
big
or
rink.
big ice rink.
The roller rinks are becoming so popular, they were popular when I was younger, you know.
So
I was
something-
just thinking about the gym floor.
Yeah, so they're not, nobody's actually on the gym floor.
No, but I
They
know.
bring all the equipment. Yeah, nope, they bring it in, yeah. So, anyways, those are some of the things we were thinking. If you guys all, again, can look that over, think about it. Any other suggestions, we're obviously
Have
open
you-
to. We
have
just
you
want some fun
Been part
stuff.
of Safe Grad Night, cause at Safe Grad Night, they would have things all throughout the high school.
Yep.
I was
Yeah,
part of
so,
that one.
We need to do
Yeah.
a schematic of the high school. If
Mhm.
somebody can get that for us, so we can start
Yeah.
It's doable.
plugging things in. We also have, my daughter's a former member of Show Choir, so she's contacting a lot of people to do like a Show Choir reunion, so we'll do that on the stage as part of other things we're gonna have in the auditorium. Let's see, oh, and also I ran into Darcy from the Y, Darcy Pava, and she would like to be on the agenda for the next meeting, because she wants to discuss all the things the Y can do and would like to do to be involved in the Tricentennial. So if,
Can you send me that information?
yep, I'll send that to you, and, the other thing we needed to know is the day after the first day, can we have access to the high school in case there's the vendors?
or do they go back to
Do
school?
they go back to school?
They haven't announced
We're
the
not
dates
sure.
online yet
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
2025, so.
Our
The gentleman-
intention, as we spoke to the superintendent of schools, we are authorized to use the school, the cafeteria,
Mhm.
the gymnasium, and the kitchen.
Mhm.
Yes, we have the parking in the parking lot and whatever you need to do outside.
Mhm.
If you get a major venue that costs a lot of money, that's something the committee's gonna have to decide. You're gonna eventually present us with a budget. Maybe there's someone out there, a heavy donor, that just likes the idea of drones and wants to spend the money. That's gonna be up to.
Right.
And of course, our committee has to make a decision
Mhm.
as to when you present your stuff, so.
Right.
I know we're limited in terms of time, and we got so many people that I wanted to call upon. Is there anything else that you wanna say about indoors? I appreciate you giving this to us in writing, so we could look it over.
Yeah.
And,
Nothing really indoors, we're just looking to see if somebody can get us, and who would we call to get a schematic for the high school, because then we can start sticking our events where we need them, and then come up with a full presentation.
Probably Director of Operations, David Twombly,
I have one.
right?
I have one.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect, thank you.
If you can
Give that
send
to
that, that
you.
would be good,
I think
yeah.
We have a question or a comment over here as well.
Yeah, a couple things for the Eastern Lions. When you're contemplating food sources, I would ask that you consider the Eastern Lions. The good benefit of that is 100% of our revenue, we turn around, we give to local charities and Lions-related charities. So we could potentially be a food source there. Also, I wouldn't be too reluctant about creating things for the outside, to draw people outside. During the holiday festival that we have here, every year in December, we're outdoors all the time. I mean, we're talking 14-hour days and everything like that. But even in the Quested House area, fire pits, maybe creating fire pits, so people have gathering places. And we have like a s'mores distribution area where we give out, you know, s'more materials, and people make s'mores from the fire pits, and then we'll, you know, hot cocoa booths and stuff like that.
Right.
So I would encourage you to not limit yourself to only indoor activities, and maybe think creatively about drawing people to the outdoors.
I wonder if we can do that, because we do wanna stick with just the high school area. You know, if we spread out in town too much, it just becomes too much, and
Yeah.
there's only so many people
But
to,
you know, on
you
on the grounds
But
itself, you might be
I'm
able
wondering
to.
if maybe in the parking lot area, we could make like kind of a cozy spot that we could put some fire pits in and do that. And we are thinking also food trucks outside in the high school parking lot area, kind of doing like a little, you know, L-shaped, hopefully get, you know, 5 or 6 local vendors as well to sell whatever as well. So we'll connect with you to see what.
We have somebody working on
options
that
are.
now as well.
Amanda, would you be doing anything, you and Anne Marie in the auditorium?
Potentially, yeah, doing maybe like, you know, show choir, get some of the town, former and current show choir students to come in, cause I know that's big in town. We have a couple of friends that have either a band or, like a cover band of some kind, so we're going to see if we can get like small 15-minute shows throughout the day so that we can utilize that, maybe doing a town trivia as well, so hoping to use the auditorium as well, as much of the space as we can.
And then maybe have Booty by Gray Bands come in, we've gotta, contact them, see if they can do like a little show.
Mini class,
Mini
talk,
class,
yeah.
so, all,
This
through the
is-
day, there'll be different things going on through there.
This is the first event of our celebration. We wanna start it off with a bang. And you'll be on the agenda again for the next meeting, as more details come in. And I appreciate what you've done. What I'd like to do right now, we know that the parade is gonna take place on June 14th. No, I'm sorry, on July 4th. There's gonna be a block party afterwards. And I've been talking to Joan and Dan, Jamie, about the possibility of doing it in front of Memorial Hall.
Oak Sands.
So it would be outside, we wouldn't have to block off the main street. When the parade ends, people can turn right, they can park and end at the church as they go through the center. And maybe you could tell us, Jamie, what ideas you and Dan have so far in terms of the block party after the parade, which is gonna be from 12 to 4.
12 to 4, yep, yeah. Yeah, it sounds like Dan and I might have to catch up. He's been traveling a lot. He didn't tell me that he spoke with you about that, so that's caught me a little off guard about shifting the location, but that's okay. We can work with that. So we have our first kind of committee meeting coming up next week. I have 11 people that have volunteered to help us with the block party so far, which is great, and other people that have offered to help but do not want to really be in the foreground, so they're just going to be assisting. Gonna have little subcommittees within this group of people that are gonna be handling food and entertainment. I actually spoke with the owner and founder of Personal Best Karate, because I was at a show for them this past weekend. He's very interested in getting involved, actually, not just with the block party, but with anything going on during the Easton 300 celebration. So during the entire year, if you think there's anything that Personal Best Karate can get involved with, they're very interested. Yes.
I was gonna say, can
Yeah.
you tell me when that meeting is, or if it's gonna be in front of the hall, so I can attend that?
The meeting next week?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not an open meeting, but you're certainly welcome to attend. I will let you know what it is.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
I don't
Thank
want
you.
everybody showing up, everybody in town showing
Yeah,
up.
no, it's just where
Yeah.
it's gonna be at the hall,
Yeah.
I'd like to.
Yeah, I'll definitely let you know.
Thank you.
Sure.
One of the things that Dan spoke about is restroom facilities.
Mm-hmm.
What happens if it rains during the parade? Would Memorial Hall be available for that,
For
John?
restrooms? No, you'd have to get porta potties.
Johnny
We
on the
did that
spot,
for the
okay.
end of
Yeah.
summer concert, yeah,
Yeah,
you'd have to get porta potties.
okay. And, didn't mean to leave you out, it's just that, I happened to speak to.
Yeah, you caught up with him first,
To
yeah,
Dan.
no, that's fine.
And it's a great opportunity for the people in the parade, the people watching the parade to come together and enjoy some fellowship. But you'll be coming back to us, presenting us a budget,
Yes,
giving us more of a detailed
yep,
breakdown of what's happening.
yeah, definitely by the next meeting, we should have a lot more information for you.
I wanted to, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the same point that I made over the weekend when we were discussing it. The 4th of July parade that you're proposing seems to follow the same footprint as the holiday festival parade that we have. I think your footprint, you don't wanna preclude yourself to just barrows. I think you're gonna need more real estate down there. And the way we block it off is pretty effective. You know, we do it for a whole weekend. So I would just recommend that you look beyond Barrow Street and increase the size of your footprint, particularly if you're adding
Well, it would just go
vendors
to
and
the
activities.
Rockery is what you're talking about, the end of the Rockery, and then Barrows, that's what you block.
Well, yeah, I mean, our footprint it's from the end of the Rockery, it's all the way to, where the library is.
Yeah.
But you have to go beyond that too, because that's where the detour spot is.
Mhm.
So you have a soft, security checkpoint to allow people to go into the, Shoveltown apartments. That needs to be manned, and then your hard perimeter is right where the library is.
Can you send me the blueprint?
Sure.
And I'll share it with Jamie. I'll share that blueprint with you
Thank you.
and Dan. Okay. Thank you very much.
No problem.
One of the things I wanted to say to the committee, because we're getting down to the finale here at our meeting, but I did give everybody in their chart a sheet that people that are going to buy into the banner program, there's a document that they fill out. It not only gives us their contact information, but it also tells us what they wanna have, is their name or title of their business.
No one has that.
No.
Yeah, it's the last page of the.
Oh, that's
The
it.
very last page
The other one.
should be a document.
It's on the one
Of
with
the
the
agenda.
agenda.
This is an intelligence test.
This one.
It's late.
Let me see that for a minute, too. Looks like this, folks. You see here?
Okay.
Yeah.
This is what we give people.
She's like, just start over.
Let me explain. This is what we give people that buy a banner. And what we do is we put this on file. And then we have someone on our committee who's gonna keep track of everybody that's buying a banner. That list is gonna go to, the printer,
I'll be
who
working
makes up the banners.
Yep.
Um,
Helping make my job.
and of course, we get your logo and everything.
Yeah.
But, I'm gonna make a bunch of these up through Southeast Regional that we can pass out. I'm hoping that Ken will take a bunch of these when he goes to a business and says, by the way, we hope that you'll buy a banner, and then, talk about what kind of donation they can make towards the celebration.
Dave?
Yes.
One suggestion on the
Yeah.
banner, where you're talking families. What if you have 500 families that want a banner? Do you have to limit the amount of big poles, and shouldn't we know that amount? There probably is a limitation
Yeah.
within
We'll
the
have a
town.
cutoff date.
I mean, there's only $300 for a lot of families.
How about
they
300
say-
banners, we'll limit it at that, right? To
But
get
how
some
many would be
incentive to it.
displayed?
Yeah.
How many do we have room to display?
How many do we
Yeah.
have room to put on poles?
And how many is the DPW willing to put up?
Let
Exactly.
me answer the first question.
Yeah,
The DPW director and I are going to take a ride around
and then you'll know the
and
amount.
count the
that can
polls, so we know exactly what we're talking about.
Expand it beyond this.
It wasn't an overwhelming turnout in other towns for family polls, but, we wanna take care of the business, it's our way of advertising.
Right.
The, high donors, whether it be 25, 15, or 10, they get a free banner. But, Yet 90 banners wouldn't surprise me. But there's only so many we have, but we want to put them all the way down Center Street.
Why not?
That's a lot for DPW to take down and put up, but somehow I guess it'll get done,
Find more roads.
yeah.
True.
True. Yes, go ahead, Dale.
When you have a chance, can I have 60 seconds? I'm gonna do the follow-up to the open house we just had on Saturday. I wanted to update.
Yeah.
You
Matt
use
quickly.
1 second, you got 59. Go
Okay,
ahead.
all right, so, we had about 20 to 25 people who came to the open house on Saturday. It was very successful. Amanda, thank you very much for doing the flyers, looks awesome. I wanna pass these out if you haven't had one already. A lot of folks are involved in other community organizations. Please help spread the word. To date, I've been separately reaching out to various organizations in addition to those who attended. The following have already confirmed that they wanna partner with us. House of Possibilities, obviously the Lions, Eastern Food Pantry, the Y, Raising Multicultural Kids, the Garden Club, Knights of Columbus, Eastern Women of Today, Green Communities, Sons and Daughters of the American Revolution, NRT, Girl Scouts, Troop 193, Borderland, Knights of Columbus, I think the VFW, Steve, I'm correct, is working with us as well. And I've separately reached out to a bunch of other organizations, and they're on board, or we're waiting to hear back from them. 2 quick ideas I just want to run by everybody. Number 1, I have not yet reached out to all the sports boosters groups and so forth. What I was thinking of is I would like to have maybe the older kids run some sort of a field day for younger kids as part of one of our existing events, and the question would be which one makes the most sense, like a field day kind of thing where the kids are doing different activities. And secondly, I'm also in the process of reaching out to the churches and temples and so forth, and I kind of like the idea of, rather than each in their own silo, folks come together, leave it up to them how they can work together to do something about how religion has fit into the history of Easton, but work together as one. So that's my update, less than 60 seconds, right?
I got you down for 2 seconds, okay.
Dale, the picnic coordinator used to run field day, so I think
That's a good one to do, yeah. Yeah, I'll send you this separately, because I'm still updating with the contact information, and
That I sent you.
yeah.
Dale, you could
I'd like
add
to,
the Eastern Grange on that.
I'd like to
Perfect,
throw
thank
the picnic out there because it's scheduled from 4 p.m. through the concert and up until the fireworks. Now Courtney has a volunteer that would like to coordinate the picnic. Ken had mentioned that the picnic would, he sees it as just people come down and there'd be trucks there to get food. Do you know what your coordinator had in mind, Courtney?
I don't think she has anything in mind yet, but I think that might be fine for people of Ken's age, but you also need to have activities for kids, and that's why I was thinking, because the picnic that's while you wait for the fireworks, right?
Mhm.
So you've got a lot of kids you have to entertain and keep entertained somehow. Sometimes that's music through a band, and I think we've discussed that maybe, or a long time ago that we talked about maybe having music. But also I'm thinking these field day activities would keep the kids busy, tire them out, then they watch the fireworks and they go.
Yeah, I'd like to have like the high school teams and their boosters take the lead in coordinating these activities for the younger kids. I just think it would be, you're getting the older ones involved with this, but running activities for the younger kids. So, you know, whether it's the hockey boosters or football, cheer, whatever, but having those folks involved to do that.
Good idea. Courtney, we have another volunteer that would like to help with the banner applications. She's a volunteer that'd like to work with you and somehow keep track of the
That's
list.
Sally, over here.
Yeah. So maybe you can chat with her after the meeting.
Okay.
Steve Shaw.
Yes.
Is there anything you'd like to say? And I appreciate you being part of our committee. We may have to go back to the VFW.
Oh, you guys aren't allowed back. The mess you left me last time, you know? No, anytime you need to come back, yeah, you can always use the hall for meetings if they get bigger. If you're gonna have more public people come to some of them later on, if you need a place, we can work it out. So there's a place, because this isn't gonna be big enough when you wanna invite the public to maybe get involved later on, it's gonna get bigger, I would assume. So the hall's probably available.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
Yeah, right.
And we have a few other places. The superintendent at Southeast Regional has a boardroom that can fit 25 or 30 people, and massage chairs and so forth. The only trouble is they meet on the second Tuesday of the month, school committee, so it's the same time we meet. They offered us a Wednesday in February. How do you feel about that, folks? Is Wednesday a bad time? Lions Club meets?
That's why, yeah.
Second, fourth Wednesdays.
So you can stagger
And
it.
Dave, as we discussed, Oaks Ames Memorial
And
Hall, is it?
Ames
available?
Memorial is another place, and that be
Yeah, I
okay
thought
on
we
Tuesday?
had scheduled, yeah.
Would that be okay, Joan, if we did the second Tuesday?
You had told me the 6th, I think.
Yeah, that's the second Tuesday.
Yeah.
Okay, we need a bigger one.
So we're gonna go to Memorial Hall the second Tuesday.
Can't possibly be.
Can't be.
Yeah,
Can't be.
that's not
Now,
possible.
that's
Yeah.
a non-televised meeting.
That's the 13th.
The fourth Tuesday of the month is televised.
13th is the second Tuesday in February.
February
The
13th.
second
Yeah, I know.
Although,
So what
Joan,
is it?
The
the
February
first
13th?
Tuesday is the TV show.
That's fine, I actually have down the 13th.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah, that's what
That's
you
correct.
had told me, yeah.
so the second Tuesday will be the 13th. It'll be at Memorial Hall. And
do you
will
wanna
there be
do
somebody
this?
there to help me up the stairs?
That would be me, and we'll be on the first floor, that holds up to 80 people on the first floor, so I think we'll be okay.
Oh, good.
Okay, we're off and running. Gordon, you got a big responsibility in terms of that fundraising.
I'll keep you posted.
That's gonna be important to us. We've got lots of people on the committee that would be willing to help or may have contacts. We'll start with Brian Hoffman, working with the gentleman who would like to donate to the cause. And whenever you get the heavy rollers, that would be terrific, because
Yeah,
we
that
wanna
was
be
my
able to
first.
sort out
I
what
already
they're
hit 'em.
sponsoring. And I think
Just
Jeanette, you and your boss will be thinking about what you'd like to,
Mm-hmm.
we haven't got anybody to sponsor the parade yet. So we got other events that we're looking forward to, recruiting lots of volunteers.
Okay. Dave, I have a question.
Yeah.
So for the cookbook, which is a fundraiser, I put a little bit out on Facebook, but I kinda need help. If somebody can help me figure out how to, get the word out better on Facebook. I'm not proficient.
Can I ask you a question? I had 2 questions about that.
Yes.
Is this a printable form online for people?
See, I don't think so. Well, I have a friend that did. She went online and she printed it all over. I don't know how she did it. So I don't know how to make it printable.
Yeah, it's gotta be a PDF fillable form for people.
Okay, so I don't have to do it.
And you have down here, you have no year, you have deadline March 1. Is that March 1 of this year?
That's right, it is. I probably should have put that on there.
That's not a lot of time for,
Well, it has to be. So people either have to do it or they don't do it.
okay.
It gives them 2 months. We can extend it if we have to. The plan is to have them printed. I wanna send everything out by June 1 and have it done. I think it takes about 8 weeks. We're gonna start selling them in the fall, this fall, 2024, hopefully for the holiday season, and then on first day and through the year.
My other question was, how is, they have to use the form, if somebody just prints this
They
form
would-
off and fills it in, how is this getting inputted and formatted?
We have a committee that's,
People are
yeah.
actually gonna have to
Yeah,
do that?
yeah, we're doing that. There's 4 of us to do it, it's not hard.
Okay.
I've already put in about a dozen, it doesn't take a lot of time. I enter them in, then we preview, and then they'll all come to me to review, and I proof them.
And how
even if
many,
it's
how many
300,
recipes are gonna be in the book?
We're hoping
Is there a
300.
max
More than
that you're
300.
allowed?
Not more than 300.
is good. What is
Yeah.
it?
Not more than
25 in
300.
already.
We have 25 in there already, so I think we'll hit 300. Yeah.
Okay.
And
Good
so,
rhyme.
if people wanted to.
The number.
We had to tell them how to submit it, so if they wanna email the form or not use the form and just send me a recipe,
mail
that's
it?
perfectly fine. They can mail it, they've got
P.O. box?
the P.O. Box 300, 02334, Easton, 02334. I and then the email. I think once the word gets out there, but I need somebody to help me get it out there on Facebook. Like I put it, sorry Courtney, on Easton Mass Moms, Easton Mass Parents. It needs to go on everything Easton and whatnot. So I said deadline March 1st. I was hoping people would understand it's March 1st.
I could talk to one of our fellow Lions that might be able to help out, because you can also do sort of at a low cost, you do a push on Facebook that gets out beyond those groups, so they do it by, the zip code and so forth.
Okay.
So,
Well, that's the kind of thing I don't.
I'll
but
tomorrow
I-
night speak to
Okay.
one of the Lions members who's been doing that to promote Easton Live.
Right.
And then we also need to also have the PDF fillable forms online for a variety of things. So I'm also looking for that assistance as well. I've already
Okay,
talked to
that would be
Mike, but
great.
we'll
Yeah.
follow up. There might be some folks in the room who might be able to
But
help
I've
out with
had
that.
a lot of positive response, so I'm hoping people will just.
Can I print it from Facebook?
It can be printed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so it is,
exactly.
it's saved as a
I think I
PDF.
did.
I sent
What you
it
actually
as
want is a
PDF, but
fillable
I'll-
form.
Yep, but
Right,
I'll
you'll-
update the date on that, and then,
Yeah.
I'll see if I can put it in.
What you wanna do is have something that's
Because
either.
Amanda created this. She
Yeah.
is so talented.
Let me put
I mean, she did a
in
beautiful
Adobe
job.
and see if I can just put that in there and make it a fillable.
The
form.
idea, we're trying to do the same thing for the
Yeah.
community relations, where folks can fill out the form
okay.
online, and then
Yeah.
it comes into a spreadsheet, so you get all the data, you don't have to retype anything.
Yeah.
So that we wanna do that across the board for a variety of our activities,
You
so
said
we just
Mike's
have to.
working on that?
What's that?
You said
I
Mike's-
talked to Mike about it, but I think
Okay.
we have to locate somebody else, but we need to do it across the board, because we have a variety of
Yeah.
these things, so instead of reinventing the wheel and having to re-enter everything,
Yeah.
it makes it easier for people to do as well, because you wanna make it as
That's
easy as
perfect.
possible, right? People, I click on the thing, I find the cookbook thing, I put it in, and it's good to go.
So it is a PDF already, so
Yes.
if Mike is or has someone that can do that, we should just be able to send it right to him and he can
Would you?
go from
would you
there.
mind
Yeah,
sending it to
if,
Dale and-
yeah, I can send it to you.
Yeah.
Let me
We'll
just.
go to Mike,
look
because
around.
I don't know how
I'll
to do
send it
that
to Mike,
myself, yeah.
I'll
And
send
the
it to
other thing,
Mike.
we talked about restaurants, because you wanna get the restaurants involved.
Mm-hmm.
So my thought is, I was going to mail every restaurant in town 2 pages. And ask for and put another different letter, obviously a little bit different than this.
But what about if, when I go personally into the restaurants, I just,
Do you want
When, but when?
I'm waiting on the flyer.
Tonight.
To see you.
Yeah.
Right.
I know.
Yeah, no, it's almost done. I just
We'll
didn't
talk
finish
anyway.
Hold the pressure.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, if you wanna do, I
Okay.
didn't wanna do it in person, I did a list of restaurants, there's gonna be 50 in
Yeah, I
town.
have it in my phone.
Exactly, so
It is,
that's a lot of, door to door.
It is amazing how we can help each other out.
Yeah,
We've got enough talent in this room. And I just wanted to say that as we come to the end of our meeting, how important it is for all of us to get together. I like large numbers, but believe me, 10 people appointed by the select board can't run the whole celebration. We need to surround ourselves with lots of good people in the community. So I say to the folks out there that may be watching, we're looking for more volunteers. We're looking for people to donate to celebration. Our goal, our task at hand is to bring families and community together, to celebrate the history of the town, and to make sure that we get everybody involved. Not just the young people, the senior adults, people that have disabilities, all the local organizations, the religious institutions, and all the clubs in town, including the country clubs. We want to make sure that everybody gets involved in this celebration. Our next meeting, we meet on the 2nd and 4th Tuesday of the month. The first Tuesday will be a TV show through ECAT to promote the celebration. And maybe when we get a little closer, we don't have to meet twice a month. But we have a lot to cover. We have a lot more coordinators that need to give us reports and submit their budgets, and most important of all, to develop a good-sized bank account so that Jeanette and I don't get nervous about how do we pay for this, how do we pay for that.
No pressure.
So I say to the folks out there listening, as well as our committee here tonight, come join us. We need more people to jump in and to get involved. And if you have any ideas, we already know what the signature events are, but maybe you have some ideas of other things. we invite all the groups and organizations in the town to continue what they're doing on a yearly basis, and especially in 2025. We want to put you on the schedule. We have a couple of people sitting on my left and right. We're going to coordinate all the events, and everybody will get a schedule. So please join us. And again, I thank Queeset House for hosting our meeting tonight. And we thank ECAT, Eastern Community Access Television, for covering the events. And go forth to serve, folks, and keep a smile on your face, just like our committee.
Amen.
Good job.
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
My world record.
Yes, is a second. All
I've done
those
these
in
myself.
favor, say aye.